I thought I'd talk about the browser in Ableton. So the browser is this little guy on the left here. He can be collapsed, or she can be collapsed, or he or it, it's 2020, can be collapsed or opened using this button here. It's the show hide browser button. So up top we have collections. For a new Ableton user, it's probably going to look like just a red that says favorites, but you can actually assign up to I think it's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 7 colors here that you can assign to anything really in Ableton, any kind of audio effect or MIDI effect or drums or sounds. So you've got red. I've changed it to VST instrument plugin, so to explain that's going to be kind of anything, any kind of audio effect that I'd like to use to just have quick access to, or VSTs. So these are my quick access plugins. So you just right click on plugin that you want to add, and then you click on the red, and then you've got your VST instrument plugin, and that's there. So those are the reds. It just saves time. You can just drag them in from here, and it's just useful. Yeah. Vox. So this is going to be my shortcut vocals. So these are all vocals that I want shortcuts to. So if I've got a stunning track and I want to add a quick female vocal, I'll just drag it in from Vox, and then you've got quick access to all of your vocals. So yeah, you can do that. And then that's the orange. So yellow for kick. I've got anything I'd use on kick processing. That's empty at the moment, but I'd probably stick the pedal on the kick, or a saturator on a kick, pedal for distortion, saturator for like low end warmth, maybe even a drum bus. So yeah, just for shaping the transients of the kick, just the default presets. For the saturator, I like to use the Synoid fold, which is built-in version of the preset for saturator, kind of affects the waveform differently, turns it into that. But yeah, we'll touch on that in a later video. And then I've got green, which is use, or teal. That's like green teal. So use is full of samples, presets, racks, things, MIDI, anything that I'd use or I've listened to and I thought, oh, that's cool, I'll use that in a future project, or I'll use that later. I'll just put a use or a green, and then this is all just stuff in here that can be used in future projects, and it just saves you time. And if you hear something nice that doesn't really fit into your project, you can put a green, and then you've got your use kind of treasure chest, and you can pick from here and drag things in. And it's going to be to your taste because you've put a green on it for some reason, so that must mean that it's going to be a nice sound. And you can just go through here, find like some cool break beats, some chords, some fun like full loops to start songs with. So if you're stumped for like motivation or creativity, you can just go through here, listen to some of the sounds, and you'll think, oh yeah, I remember pressing use on that. I'd like to use that in a future project. So you just drag it in, and imagine this is a fresh project. You could get that, and then get the MIDI, and then now we've got like a cool kalimba melody, in like 2 seconds, and you can freeze and flatten this guy, and then we've got it as audio, and now we've got this which we can use in future projects, and then drag that into user library, and then yeah, now we've got that for future projects. So that's something useful. You press R, reverse it, get a cool bass line solo with the kick. Yeah, so I'm not going to overwhelm you guys with stuff straight away, but that's the kind of things that you can do with the use, the green. Sorry, we got a bit carried away there. And then blue is my master chain, so anything I'd want to use, like, which we'll talk about that later on. What is a master chain? Yeah, the master chain's just, you know, it's something that if you put something on the master, it's going to affect every track in Ableton. So, for example, if I was to put an echo on the master, you're now going to hear echo on each track. So things you might want to put on the master, you might want to put some saturation. It's totally up to you. It's more of a creative thing. It's designed to get like a polished, finished product. I've got mono on the master, so it just makes my mix downs a bit tighter. But yeah, if you don't understand this terminology, don't worry guys, it's covered later in the course. So we'll move on now, and you can hear about it later on. Purple, I have scales, so it's kind of more advanced stuff. Just keeping things in key. If you don't have a musical background, you can use these scales and drag them onto your MIDI track, and that way whenever you play a note it will stay in the scale that you've brought in. So you can then change the notes of the scale just by clicking on these guys. So if we had MIDI, for example, we would, let's see, yeah, let's go. And then a sound to trigger the MIDI. You can see how it's staying in key with this. And you can move the notes around and it will change the melody that's playing. Yeah, super interesting. And then you can freeze and flatten this guy. It's going to save you CPU. Freezing and flattening just turns it into audio, but we'll talk about that later in the course. You don't have to worry about that right now, guys. It's just something that we're doing at the moment, just to show you what you can do in Ableton. And you know, you've got that sound that's MIDI now to audio. So, yeah, the little dots, and now it's a waveform. So that's useful scales, and then you've got used. So that's, you know, a sample that you've used. You may not remember if you've used it, and you're like, oh, I used that guy, and you know, you can just right click, and then if you box next to it, so I'll know that I used that in a previous track, so if I want to use it again, I'd transpose it down or up 3 semitones. And I wouldn't make a whole song with that again, because it's already been done. So yeah, hope you guys found this useful. Speak to you in the rest of the course, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you very much for choosing me, and peace.